going to be doing a flight from Baltimore International to Washington Dulles using the Boeing 747-8I, and we're going to start our flight plan right now. Our departure on the runway, so all the flight checks will have been done, and our arrival, we click on Washington Dulles and set that as arrival. Now we're going to be doing an RNAV approach and landing. So in order to do that, we have to go instrument flight rules, and I'm going to select low altitudes, and that gives us an opportunity to select a runway. So let's go RNAV 1 right, that one, and there's our flight plan. Now if we want to change that so we can see some sights along the way, we can add the Lincoln Memorial as a waypoint, and now that changes our approach into the runway, and we have that added as a waypoint. So we're ready to fly now and do an RNAV approach and landing in Washington Dulles on runway number 1 right. Look outside before we take off. It's a little faster, 76%. Let's take a look inside at the main panels and what we have to do for an RNAV flight. So here's our primary screen here. Speed is set at 200, altitude at 10,000, and currently barometric pressure is set at 29902. Press B on your keyboard, B Bravo, and it will reset your barometric pressure for you. And you can see now that we're at the correct altitude, elevation. And the second screen here gives us a view of the airport. Currently that's the way it's set. And also the runway, where we're positioned, and our heading. Our first waypoint is going to be the Lincoln Memorial, which we set in our flight plan. Let's take a look at Control 2, bringing up this panel. I'm just going to adjust the altitude to 4,000 foot now. Because it's a very short flight, it'll allow us to look at the ground a little bit better and see if we're flying over that altitude. So going across here, this range will scroll in and out this screen right here, and we have it set on now. So the auto throttle is on, and you can't really control the auto throttle using the keyboard or a joystick. You have to actually flick it with your mouse, get it on and off. This speed mode is currently, speed mode is off, so you would click that to turn it on. When we get in the air, it'll automatically come on, you'll notice. So there's your speed setting, 200 knots. We have our heading here, heading hold. We have RNAV here, which we have to turn on in order to follow our flight plan. So that's like your nav on some other aircraft. Okay, let's look at this button. It's the vertical speed mode that you turn on and off when you want to go descent or ascent. And here's your altitude hold. It automatically comes on and off when you reach our set altitude. When you have it on autopilot. This is your approach button that we have to hit when we get to the correct approach waypoint on the runway that we're This is our gauge pilot. So let's go to Control 3. Brings up our engine information. Control 4 brings up our fuel information for our engines. And here we have another screen that we're going to take a quick look at. This, if we click on here, it'll give us our route. So origin and destination, that looks fine. Our flight number, which we created ourselves. Departure and arrival, that looks fine. If we click on arrival, you'll see we have runway 1 right for our RNAV approach. Let's click on legs. You can see at Mosby we have to be at 3,000 feet. At Waxon we have to be at 1,900 in order to pick up the glide path through the runway. So we're going to have to set our altitudes and hit those numbers before we hit the approach button. So let's take a look at the next screen. Control 5 brings up our throttle information, our flaps, etc. Control 6, another view from a different angle. Control 7, that same screen again, which we were just looking at. It's a second screen down here. So you can see, we're going to leave that at legs because we'll need that information. Control 8, 9, overhead panel information, and Control 0, more. And then let's head back to our view out the front, and we're ready for takeoff. So let's go inside the aircraft. Let's release the parking brakes by pressing Control Delete on the keyboard. And let's go back inside and watch our V1 and our rotating speeds come up on this speed tape here. Hit rotate, we'll just gently pull back on the yoke and lift off. Get into the air, we'll set the autopilot. Throttle right now. Start bringing up some flaps. Okay, I'm going to set the autopilot now. Critical speed, we have to do ascend. And we have to hit RNAV. And you see speed came on automatically. So you can see we're now on autopilot. It's adjusting the speed on its own, and it's ascending to 4,000 feet. So you can see it just clicked altitude, RNAV is on, and speed now is on. So I'm going to bring up some more flaps now. Here we have them entirely up. this screen we can scroll in or out, and I'm going to use this range to scroll so we can see a little bit better where we're headed. Oh, there's our waypoints right there. Decel, speed. We have to be at 3,000 right here. And there's waxing where we have to be at. Just double check that. 1900. So I'm going to start descending now to 3,000. Get ready for this waypoint. So set your altitude at 3,000. Get vertical speed mode. Turn it on. Make sure it goes on. It's saying it's on now. So you have to kind of scroll over to find out if it's on or off. We're going to go down. We should start to see us descending. You notice when I hit the button, the light was on, but it still said it was off, so I'm not sure why that happens. Start descending now to 1900. Barometric pressure is set correctly. When we hit waxing, I'm going to hit the approach. See this square dropping So whether I land this thing correctly or not, this is working pretty good. So I'm going to reduce our speed to 170. That was actually a pretty good landing. The big thing you got to remember is to take that auto throttle off. Thank you very much for joining me on this flight to Dallas Airport. Hope you get some pointers on how